Hi, I'm Carmen Pérez Garcia, and this is my final exam for Resources in Education and ICT. So first, I'm going to explain a bit the context of my class. So it is a class of 20 students, 10 boys and 10 girls in 5th of primary, so they are around the age of 10 to 11 years old, and they are all regular students. They are imaginative kids as well as hardworking, and bilingual, as it is a bilingual group, so all the tasks will be done in English. They are really into working in small groups and giving their ideas, although they are still learning but improving every time to respect each other's turn to speak and not to interrupt the others, and understand that every opinion is valid and must be taken into account. They also feel comfortable working with electronic devices such as tablets or laptops, and this of course under the teacher guidance. These are the competencies of the Royal Degree of the Regional Model that I have taken into account to develop this activity. Then I asked the AI to make a proposal about an activity with the information that I have just provided you, and this is what it gave me. Basically, it gave me a problem-based learning proposal focused on a student-centered approach and creativity, with the teacher acting as a guide who supports active and collaborative learning. Also, I have to mention that from the AI proposal, the only thing that I have done is just adapt the sessions in which the project will be done as what the AI gave me. It was pretty according with what I had in mind, and I really liked the proposal it made me. Okay, the elements that I chose are a comic, the stop motion, and the Canva. The activity consists first on the groups debate about the topic that they should make their story about. Like, all the activities are related to each other, so they have to choose a topic about what they are going to make all these activities and discuss about it. The topic of the whole task is to communicate a social, emotional, or community-related message through storytelling and media creation. This is first step and also the first session. Moving on to the next session, they start making their comic. They are making it in a digital source called Brixton. After discussing the previous session, what they are going to do, and the topic that is being chosen, they start to making the comic all in groups. They are done with the comic, that should take between 1 and 2 sessions. They move on to the stop motion task. What they have to do here is to transfer what they have done in the comic to the real life using materials that they have in class, and making the stop motion, in this case with a phone, and doing it in collaboration with all the team. The stop motion task should take as well 1 session. After this session, we are moving on to the Canva. What you have to do here is to make a poster with some catchy phrases that express what their stop motion and comic is about. They have to make and present all the work that they have done during these sessions, the comic, the stop motion, and the poster, to the whole class, and explain what it is important, what they have chosen, the topic that they have chosen, what is the matter, and all of that. Here, students play an active role throughout the whole project because they are not only receiving information but also creating and making decisions continuously. They also organize roles within the group, solve creative problems together, and collaborate to transform their ideas into visual and digital products. During the comic creation phase, students act as designers by planning scenes, creating characters, and producing digital comics with dialogues and visual elements. In the stop motion activity, they become filmmakers and animators. They build scenes, move characters step by step, and take photographs with tablets, in this case a phone. Finally, when creating the Canva campaign or poster, students act as digital communicators by designing visual messages intended to raise awareness or express values connected to their stories. The digital tools add important educational value because they allow students to communicate ideas in creative and collaborative way, making learning more engaging and interactive. Tablets also support in classrooms because they provide visual supports, flexible ways of participating, and opportunities for students to express themselves. And this is the final result of the activity. Okay, now moving into that, the assessment will be continuous, formative, and competence-based. The aim is not only evaluate the final digital products, but also the learning process, collaboration, communication in English, creativity, and a responsible use of technology. Students will be assessed throughout the project through teacher observation, group discussions, participation during activities, self-assessment, peer feedback, and evaluation of the final products. The assessment will focus in both individual contribution and group work in order to ensure that all students participate actively. And this is the rubric that I will be using for it. Now we are moving into the assessment of the tools. First, I'm going to start with Brixton. As you can see in the table, it works pretty well, but you have to sign up. However, teachers can create a classroom allowing students to join without signing up. Only the teacher is the one who needs to do it, making it more safety for students. The next one is Stop Motion Studio. This one scores highly for privacy and other rights because it can be used without creating an account, allow users to retain ownership and control of their projects, and provides multiple options for saving, archiving, and exporting content, although care should be taken when sharing projects through external cloud or social media services. And then we have Canva. The downfall of this one is that user must create an account and provide personal information, but it scores highly for data privacy and ownership and for archiving, saving and exporting data, as users retain rights to their original content and can save, download and export work in multiple formats. Now, moving on to the dilemma, one important tension of this project is the balance between engagement and distraction when using electronic devices. These tools are highly motivating for students as it increases creativity, collaboration, and participation. However, electronic devices may also distract students, reduce concentration, or shift the focus from learning objectives to entertainment, especially in a primary classroom. To address this challenge, technology is used in a structured and purposeful way throughout the project. Digital tools are only introduced when they clearly support communication, collaboration, and creativity. Before using electronic devices, students first plan their ideas on paper, discuss their stories face-to-face, and organize their tasks within the group. This ensures that technology supports the learning process instead of replacing interaction and critical thinking. The communication strategy would be focused on a sort of circular sent to the families before starting the project. The circular would briefly explain the objectives of the task, the creative activities that the students will be doing, and the educational purpose of using the technologies in classroom. It would also be reassured to the families that all the educational devices will be used only for educational purpose and with safety and the teacher control and guidance. Finally, the circular would end inviting the families to contact the teacher if they have any major concerns or doubts, and encouraging an open and respectful communication between both. And the last part is the ACAD framework of its activity. Okay, the first one is the ACAD of the comic. I have to say that each of them, like every ACAD, is pretty similar to each other, like there is no changes at all. But in this one, in the part of the task, we can see the digital media, as they use a lot of digital sources, as where they do the comic, it's on an online source. Brainstorm, as one of the parts of the project, is to elaborate ideas on how are they going to create their comic. Then exhibition, because at the end of the project they expose what they have done to their classmates. Then composing, because they are creating a comic, and the storytelling, because as well they are telling a story, as the word says. Then in the part of pedagogy, I've put learning as participation and negotiation, because they are all the time arguing what they can select as a topic, and then in the process of making the comic, what can they put and what is most suitable. And this aligns also with the other cards that are learning through meaningful experiences and learning to use soft skills while developing core knowledge, because they are using electronic devices. In the part of space and objects, it's pretty simple. I just put a classroom because the whole project is developing the classroom. Then laptops, because the best way to create the digital comic is on a laptop, and an online forum as the web it's online. And last but not least, in the members, I've put teams because they are working in teams. The teacher, as the teacher, is acting as a guidance all the time, helping with any doubts that they have, as well as with the technological devices. And idea generator, because they are all the time giving ideas of what they can do, how they can do it, and the best way possible to do it. Then on the stop motion ACAD, it's all pretty similar. It's basically all the same, except that I've changed the laptops for tablets, because I feel like with the Stop Motion Studio app, it's more comfortable and easier to use a tablet to make it rather than a laptop. Also, I'm not sure if a laptop can have the Stop Motion application. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But I feel like the tablet is the most accurate and easier device to use. And lastly, in the ACAD of the Canva, I've removed from the task cards the storytelling part, because with the Canva they are not telling a story, they are just putting into a poster what are the main aspects that has to be taken into account and highlighted. And also in the space and objects, I put both tablets and laptops as objects, because Canva can be used very easily and properly in both of these devices, so it's just as they prefer. I honestly prefer the laptop, but it's a choice. And then on the members part, I also add the audience. Although this should be also in the other parts, I feel like this one is more representative to the audience, because it's the Canva part is what is going to be most presented. Like, it's the main thing that is going to be presented to the rest of their classmates. Although the comic and the stop motion is going to be presented as well, the Canva is like the main thing, like the attraction part. Now for this part 2, I have chosen question 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to start with question 3. First, I'm going to explain what is PLA. So PLA is a combination of tools, sources of information, connection, and activities that each person uses regularly for learning, and this is my PLA. I placed ChatGPT in the reading area because it helps to understand concepts, to find information, and support learning. Mblog, the Coderogi website, belongs to Reflecting Doing because it allows to learn through programming, experimentation, and problem solving. Moreover, Canva and Stop Motion Studio are between Reflecting Doing and the PLN because they help you create digital content and share it with others. While Canva is useful for designing presentation and visual resources, and I would definitely keep it in my PLA due to the fact that I have never used it that much until this year, Stop Motion Studio supports creativity through animation and storytelling. Then Blur connects reading and PLN because it allows to reflect on what I have learned, publish my ideas, and interact with other people online. Now it's time for question 4. First, I'm going to explain what is the DIC CompuEdu framework. So it is a framework that is directed towards the educators at all levels of education, and it provides a general reference frame to support the development of educator-specific digital competencies in Europe. And for this one, I have chosen Area 2, Digital Resources, Area 3, Teaching and Learning, and Area 5, Empowering Students. So Area 2 consists of the ability of educators to identify, select, organize, create, modify, and share digital resources that best fit their teaching objectives, learner needs, and teaching style. It also includes the responsible use of management of digital content, respecting copyright and licensing rules, and protecting sensitive data and information. An example of this area for me would be the comic task, because we had the photo comic and we had to make sure constantly that all the license of the photos were right for us to use them, and also search photos in banks of photos. So I think that example is pretty according with this area. Area 3 consists of the effective planning, design, implementation, and orchestration of digital technologies throughout the learning process. It also includes using digital technologies to provide guidance and support to learners, promote collaborative learning, and foster self-regulated learning. Shifting the focus from teacher-centered instruction to learner-centered learning. An example of this area for me will be the whole course as a whole, because in all the tasks we have had the liberty to choose the technologies that we could use, and also the resources that we were working with. Except some cases, basically all the time we have the liberty to choose what to use. Area 5 consists of using digital technologies to support learner-centered approaches by promoting learners' active engagement, creativity, exploration, and ownership of their learning. It also includes using digital technologies to provide personalized learning opportunities adapted to learners' individual needs, interests, and competence levels, while ensuring inclusion, accessibility, and equal opportunities for all learners. An example of this area for me would be the comics task as well, because we had the opportunity to choose the comic, the type of comic that we wanted, as well as be creative in terms of making a story and making the comic itself in a digital source such as Canva. And last but not least, the fifth question. For this exam, I think I deserve an 8, because I have put so much effort and time as well, and I think I have done a pretty good job, although I'm sure there are some things that can be improved. I think it's good what I have done. So yeah, I think I deserve an 8 or an 8.5. Yeah, I'm happy with that. For me, the most challenging role that I have taken this course, apart from this exam, because it has been a bit difficult to combine the process of making the video and the script and all of that with studying other subjects, because this process of making the video consumes a lot of time. I would also say that the group work and communication between the group has also been a bit tricky and a bit challenging, but I think we have done a pretty good job dealing with it. Finally, for this exam, I have used the AI to develop the activity as it was requested in the instructions, and also for making the assessment rubric of the activity. Like the table, I've made it myself with Canva, but it was made by ChatGPT at first, but and also it has helped me as well to express all the ideas that I have in the best way possible, because sometimes I have a lot of things on my mind that I don't know how to explain them properly and exactly how I want it. So it has helped me a bit with it, putting all in the best way possible. And this is the end of my exam, so I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.